I am Felipe,
And I am Renee. We are fortunate enough to live in Canada.
and like us, there are many others who are still waiting to be heard.
This is a space for all of us to share our experiences, our ideas, and our victories.
This is our podcast.
Hello, and welcome to this special episode. This is a little bit rushed, but I'm glad we pulled this off. Is that the expression, Felipe? I think so.
Right.
Well, so today we're gonna talk about what?
Well, we were planning about making a Halloween special. So we are gonna compare the different traditions between North America, South America, especially Mexico and United States.
Yeah.
Today we have a very special guest. He was one of our classmates in high school. He was an international student at Mexico.
He's from Arizona. And guys, welcome Sean Brown.
There he goes.
Hey
Hi.
Sean.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Yeah.
So this is our friend Sean. If you want to introduce yourself, I feel that you are gonna make it better than us.
So I'm Sean Brown, and I met these two guys when I moved to Mexico back when I was like 11, and we went to school together for about, what was it, guys, 4 years, 5 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, then I moved back to the U.S., moved to LA, then back to Arizona for college, and here we are.
Yeah, so we want to talk about traditions, mostly like Halloween and Dia de Muertos kind of thingy. And I mean, you just introduce yourself, so people know why we chose you because you've been in both cultures, like right there. So I would like to know your experience with Halloween as a kid. You know, like
Yeah,
your memories and like how you lived it, like at school, your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's really different when you're a kid than when you're an adult. From what I remember, it was really fun. I mean, school, sometimes they let kids dress up in costumes and go and give out candy to each other. And then it was mainly just after school. You'd wait until it was dark out, and then you put on your costume and you go trick-or-treating around your neighborhood. And then I think that was about it. That was almost, the only thing we would really do. I mean, occasionally you'd hang out with friends or something like that on Halloween, the older you get. But that was about it. I mean, there's a lot more events. Like there's a haunted houses you can go to, like scary amusement parks, stuff like that. That's pretty big actually. But the main thing is just being a kid and getting to dress up in a costume and going out all night just trick or treating, getting what you can be.
Yeah, Halloween it's like a very huge party in the US, right? Like it's one of the huge ones, right? Like people really spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, there's a store that pops up once a year called Spirit Halloween, and they're only there around a month, and they're like the biggest Halloween retailer, and they make so much money, and then they're gone for the whole year. But no, it's a big thing because there's Halloween parties, there's a bunch of like haunted houses where they set up like these giant amusement parks, but they're just different haunted houses you go to, different like rides, different like types of like Halloween related food, like just themed food. A lot of movies. There's a lot of like Halloween movies that come out, so it's a really big thing.
Yeah, that's cool. How did you live like the Dia de Muertos celebration? Like, did you celebrate it when you were at Mexico, or?
Not really celebrated. I mean, we went and got some decorations, and we got like the candy skulls and like the sugary skulls. We put them around, and we got some other like small decorations, but it wasn't as big as like Halloween here. It wasn't like as big as like costumes and going out and trick or treating and all the other like activities you do. It was more just kind of like Yeah, that's what we had. We just it was just some decorations and just
Yeah, just the altar. You know the how would you say it in English? Like
yeah.
The offering,
I think we
this.
might have had one. I don't remember. My grandmother may have put one out, but not that I remember. I don't remember actually making one.
Yeah, so this, if you're on YouTube, you can watch this. There's like an altar, so you put like your relatives who died, like the pictures and some food that they liked. Because like according to the pre-Hispanic mythologies, like they would come on November 1st and 2nd back to the world, and if they have a picture, they can like find where you are and they can eat whatever you left them there. So that's pretty much it. So according ac- according to like tradition, like this flower, the orange flower, cempasúchil, guides the spirits to your house or something like that, right, Felipe?
yeah, yeah, like uh, everyone in Mexico. Well, like not everyone, but most of the people they only make the altar. Like they just make like a little one. Like those ones are huge. The ones that Renee is showing, those are
Mm-hmm.
huge. But usually we just put like a small one. Some
Yeah,
people go like to the cemetery, spend the night with the dead. I've
it's
never done
not
that.
like this. It's not
Like
like Halloween. It's more like a family gathering, and like
Yeah, that's
you
a
eat food.
that's a difference that I saw is that like the Day of the Dead is just a lot more tradition based, and there's people still stick to like some of the traditions and customs about it. Now where Halloween, I guess there was like I forgot what the origin was, but I guess there was some type of like religious aspect around it or like spiritual aspect around it. But now it's kind of like just turned into just another, um, another just holiday that we celebrate, kind of just
thing.
a party holiday, or just some reason to go out and celebrate. Some like a reason to go out and party or something like that. There's no real like traditional like spiritual kind of like cultural meaning behind it anymore. That's one big thing though. Is like people still believe in like Day to Day, and people still put up offerings and all that. Where here is kind of just like just like a commercial holiday where it's just kind of just like, oh hey, get your costume and go out and party and get drunk and all that.
Mm. So that's
Yeah,
how you
it's
feel about it now, right?
Well, yeah, yeah. No, also when you're an adult and it's Halloween, I mean, the main thing is just just Halloween parties. I mean, I have gone to a couple like those like amusement parks that they set up, like the scare amusement parks. Those are actually kind of fun.
Hmm.
I mean, there's no real like dolphins on
Yeah.
Halloween. I guess just you can go see some movies. I mean, go to a Halloween party, but Day of the Dead is a lot more, in my opinion, just traditional and like people still like people in there like people in Mexico still follow it to this day. Like people are still doing the same thing that they've been doing for years, and it's not going to change. Whereas here nowadays, it's just straight, uh, just a commercial holiday.
Yeah. And did you remember seeing people trying to celebrate Halloween in Mexico?
Yes.
Was
I
it
mean,
similar to what you used to do when you were a kid or like what you do now?
mm, um, I have like a really vague memory of it because it's like
Yeah.
10 years ago. But from what I remember, people were like trying to do like the Halloween thing, and it was kind of weird because some people kind of understood what it meant, and then other people didn't really understand what it meant. So it was just kind of like some weird, like middle, like it wasn't like full Halloween spirit, and then it wasn't like
Hmm.
no one knew what it was. It was kind of weird. It was yeah, it was a bit strange, but it wasn't. I saw people trying to celebrate it, just not as big as it was here. Like we tried celebrating it, we tried carving pumpkins, doing some stuff, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the same.
yeah, I mean, like I feel that Halloween like grows in the American people a lot because they celebrate it since when they are kids. Like they go out and ask for trick or treat. And here in Mexico, well, like in Mexico, yeah, kids don't go out like asking for candy. Like they're gonna get a candy or shoot in the head, you know? Like not a good idea.
Yeah, here it's a really big thing. Well, now with COVID, I don't know what's going to go on, but like
Oh yeah.
usually it's a really big thing. I mean, it's a huge holiday. A lot of money is being spent on decorations and food and costumes. A lot of money is just made off that holiday. But yeah, no, it's not really as tradition based. I mean, I know there's some aspect around it, like the origin from it was through Catholicism or something like that. Or what was it? I'm drawing a blank right now, but people don't really see it as some type of like deeper meaning. They just see it as a reason to go out and have fun with the night. Whereas I saw people in Mexico putting up shrines, like huge altars and stuff to relatives. Not me. Like I don't think we did that. Maybe my grandmother did, but I saw some of extended family and some of our family friends down there. They had these crazy altars built,
Hmm.
and they still they follow it to a T. Like it is still they still follow it, which I think is pretty cool that um, that they do that.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember the 2016 clown sightings?
Yeah, so
How do you feel about that?
I was living in LA at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I really, really wanted to see one of those clowns because I thought it was fake. Like my first reaction was the first thing I did is I texted all my friends. Well, we were in a group chat, we were texting about it, and I was like, honestly, guys, I feel like this is fake. And they're like, I don't know. I was like, it feels fake, but I thought it was kind of, I don't know, I
Yeah.
thought it
So
was.
and for people who don't really know what we're talking about, in
Kids, right?
2016, yeah, people would dress up like clowns and started like attacking people. And like some were pranks, but some were kind of serious.
Yeah, so like people were like, there were
Yeah.
some rumors that people were being attacked. There were rumors they were just trying to be creepy,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Like I don't know why people would do that because if you do that in some states, you will get shot. Like if you do that in Arizona and at some states, you will get shot. If you do that in like the deep south and you're like running at someone with a butcher's knife, you will get shot. So I don't know why. I don't
Oh
know. Yeah, I
yeah.
thought it was funny. I just didn't. I just don't know why. Like people are doing. There were rumors like when I was in LA. There was rumors like, oh my god, some guy's dressed up as a clown at like this park, but I never saw one. I kind of want, honestly, if they bring that back, that actually be kind of like, I thought it was amusing at this point, but
Yeah.
no,
Would you do that?
I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake at the time. I
It
was like,
has to be because, as you say, like if someone runs to you, like especially in America, like if someone runs to you like with a knife, he's getting shot. Like
yeah, it depends on like what state, because some states
Yeah.
are,
yeah, like Texas.
yeah. Like in Arizona, we have the most like laid back, like the most, we have like the best gun laws here. Like you can have anything you want, you can carry anything you want. That's, I don't know, like someone comes up to you trying to do that or like tries to break into your house, like I don't know. I think most of those were, I don't know, they said, I don't know where they were, but like I kept seeing them and I was like, it kind of looks like just, a bunch of guys got together and tried, like,
Yeah,
Just
but it
prank
was fun.
people.
Like
it was,
I feel that it brought back like the spookiness of Halloween. You know, like just a little bit.
No,
no, I mean, yeah, there's always like the spook, like, there's always like rumors about Halloween. Like, there's always like dangerous stuff that happens on Halloween. Like, for years, there was always people were always like, oh my God, there's gonna check your candy for razor blades because like it may have
oh yeah.
happened somewhere, or there may have been a few incidents. I was like, I mean, like really, like
Yeah.
there was like
Something.
check your
Yeah.
candy for drugs, and it's like drugs are expensive. I don't think any like junkies would get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. When they made weed legal here in Canada, they were like, "Oh, that parents take care of your kids and don't take them trick or treating because people can give them edibles." And you're like, "Those are super expensive. Like nobody would give them away to kids." Like,
Like I don't know. I never understood that. There was always rumors like that. It's always like there were. I guess there are some dangers of people like being kidnapped and mugged and stuff. But yeah, it was always like weird. Like that. I've been hearing that since I was like a kid since we first started going out. It's like, check your candy for razor blades or syringes. And I was like, who would have the time? But like 200 razor blades inside like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It just never made sense to me. But I guess it may have happened. But that's just kind of the stuff. Like every year, you still hear people saying that.
Yeah.
Incident, and it just goes down in history.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Oh, did you ever go trick or treating in Mexico, Sean?
Yeah, actually, we tried it when I first moved down there in like August or September. We tried doing it in October, and then no one knew what we were doing, like around where we live, around our house.
Mm-hmm.
So we just went out and bought some candy at the supermarket eventually.
Yeah. Did
fun.
you, Felipe?
What?
Did you ever go trick or treating in Mexico?
No.
Yeah, looking back at it now, I feel kind of stupid because like I was too young to know, but I was like, oh, we should try it, and then we did.
It sounds fun, to be honest. Like I always wanted to go trick or treating.
Yeah.
But like,
ton of fun.
I lived in an apartment building, and like people would go trick or treating, but like my parents never took me. So during Halloween and like Dia de Muertos, like because that's the thing in Mexico. If you go trick or treating, you can go either October 31st, November 1st, or November 2nd, right? Yeah. So you can get way more candy. But like I think it's a little bit more dangerous. So that's why people in the apartment building were doing it, because we're neighbors and we know each other. But my mom didn't like that. So during Halloween, we would just like turn the lights on and off and watch a movie and pretend we were in there. So that's my Halloween experience in Mexico. And Felipe is gone again.
Yeah, it's lagging a lot.
It's okay.
Wait, what happened?
I was talking about my experience during Halloween, where my mom, my brother, and I would just turn the lights off and watch a movie and pretend we're at home.
Wow. I never did anything like during, like nothing. Like we only put the altar, and that's it. Like, and it was a basic one. There was a point where the person who cleans my house never took it off. So it was like fucking Christmas, and we had like the Day of the Dead altar. Like they were together. You have like Santa Claus and the baby God there, like in the same place. But I understand, like she's a little bit old, and she also bought like this huge, what's the name of this? The Virgen de Guadalupe, you know,
the Virgin Mary.
The Virgin Mary, but it's made out of like moth, like it's an artisany, right? So it's a huge one, so we can't move it. Like we have there like a permanent Dia de Muertos stand.
Oh. So now that we're just talking about traditions, Sean, is there any weird traditions that you found in Mexico?
Any what?
Weird traditions besides Day of the Dead?
Weird traditions. I think that the one that I found like really strange was like our neighbor next door. She'd have a posada every year, and they'd like get pamphlets and made everyone like sing and walk around the block. And I was like, and then afterwards, everyone would go eat tacos and eat a bunch of food and stuff. And I always just hated doing that walk because it took like an hour, and I was like, it's cold outside. That was kind of weird. It was interesting. I'm trying to think of some other stuff.
Well, Sean thinks I think we should explain what a posada is. So it's like a party kind of thingy where you bring a lot of people, like your family or friends or neighbors, as Sean's neighbor used to do it, and then you sing a song. So half the people there are gonna leave the house, and the other half are gonna stay inside. So you're gonna sing, representing like Mary being pregnant and finding anywhere to stay. And then in the end, like you let Mary and Joseph in, and Jesus is born apparently. So that's like the representation, like the main point of the party. But like people in Mexico just go there to drink and eat tacos, as Sean said. So
That's essentially what we did.
yeah,
Traditions. I remember there were really a lot of obscure holidays. Like there's like always a bunch of holidays that just kind of seemed to they're made up so people just didn't have to go to work. It's like, what day is it? Oh, it's like the day of the flag, so no one has to go to work.
yep. They have the constitution.
Weird tradition. I can't really think of any right now. I remember I went to go see like the tunic. Remember the tunic that had like Virgin Mary painted on it?
Which one?
It's in Mexico.
The what?
About the guy who puts a bunch of roses in a tunic, and then when he lets go of it, like the Virgin Mary painted on there.
I didn't know about that.
Which one?
Hold on, let me look this up. I thought like everyone knew about this.
Like the Virgin Mary, or
okay, I can't be the only one who. Yeah, no.
we went like to a very deep, like random place.
The Santa Camisa. That's what it was.
A misa.
Yeah, the Santa Camisa. That's like the. Where is it? I know it's somewhere in Mexico. I think it's Mexico. Unless my brain is just like.
It's that. Let me check.
I swear it was there. I'm pretty sure it's Mexico.
Is it any of these?
No, but you remind me of all the traditions. Yep. Okay. Oh, I thought the tunic was in Mexico. There was something in Mexico that people would literally get on their knees and get on their hands and knees and crawl to.
Oh, I see the peregrinación.
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know why else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, where everyone go to. They go to the basilica.
Yeah.
So they go to see Virgin Mary.
To this church. Yeah.
That was wild because we went there once and I saw people like with their knees all bloody and like carrying like two children, still going up to there, and that was wild. Also, the amount of people that go there was insane.
I mean, like for those who don't know, like in Mexico we have the Virgin of Guadalupe, that it's like a mixed from the Virgin Mary and the indigenous people from Mexico. Like it's mixed between them, like the cultures. Like it's the way that how the Christianity entered to our country. Well, like it was accepted because of that icon. And right now, like it's one of the most important icons that we have. Like maybe you've seen it like in T-shirts, in Cholo people.
Cholo people.
But yeah, it's like very important.
Well, but no, the traditions you looked up before, those I remember seeing those. Those were cool. I thought those were like some of the coolest shit that I've seen.
Yeah,
like the peregrination. Well,
no, the traditions you looked up before. The Iztapalapa.
Oh yeah, those are wild.
Those were cool. Those, I mean, when I first saw that, I thought that was like the coolest thing I've seen. Like
this is so crazy.
Yeah, that stuff. I was like, well, at first I was a little bit like taken back because I was like, that's just that's a lot. Like, it's a little bit overboard. But it was cool, like seeing everyone dress up and seeing like all the parades and stuff. The parades are a big thing that I've noticed. Like we have parades up here, but like parades down there like are a whole nother level of just like costumes and.
Like, how do you think Americans would react if they see this like on their street? Like, I don't know. in
Oh,
guy,
LA.
guy being hung.
Yeah, like
well,
representing
it's a
Jesus or
play. It's a play.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
'Cause
like
it's
people just be generally like they know it's not fake and it's a religious thing. Like people here kind of like it just depends honestly because like I know people like my friends we just kind of like be like oh okay it's some religious event. I know some people would just probably go overboard, but yeah I think it's so cool. I thought it was awesome, but um a lot of stuff in Mexico. Yeah, no, those pretty cool. People I just feel like depends on the person who goes. Like some people are really open minded and they're like, oh, that's so cool. That's really interesting. The culture's really cool. I mean, I want to learn more about that. And then some people go there and they're like, oh, hey, this is really stupid, and I don't, I want to leave. Another thing that I thought was really weird when I first got there, it's not really a tradition. It's just like a thing. Is when you go to certain places and they have like a statue like dedicated to like what is
mhm.
it? It's like like death.
Oh yeah, La Santa Muerte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like literally the angel of death. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? And
That,
then it's everywhere. I was like, I've seen it all over the place. I was like
yeah,
Santa,
that's a very
Yeah,
yeah,
so
like
in I don't know, like at least in where I used to live, it was like, oh shit, that's the holy dead.
yeah, and like
yeah.
my people were always like, hey, don't if you like ever see that, just don't go near it. But I mean, I thought like when you're driving through certain neighborhoods to get the better ones, or you're like driving through the city or whatnot, and you just see that, it's a lot more common than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's part of like a branch of Catholicism, I think. I did some research on this, and apparently it protects people so that when they die, they go to heaven. It's kind of weird.
There's
Like,
also a really interesting thing I saw was like a form of like devil worship, like Satanism. Was there was a giant troll somewhere in Mexico City, a giant troll, and he would leave gifts at its feet. I I saw photos of it once. I heard stories about it from people, and I wanted to go see it, but my mom would never take me. But it was like a giant troll figure, and it was like a part of like Santeria, and then people were like would give it gifts and like worship it, and I was like, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really funny, but it was what is
this?
it? No, it's something like
No.
I I don't know. I forgot the name. It has a really specific name. It's like some form of like devil worship, like demon
Wow,
worship.
Sean,
It's so
you knew more than us, like in that sense. I've never heard I've never heard about a giant troll in
Yeah.
Mexico.
But it was like I was at my mom went to this one church and we were there and like the pastors used to be devil worship, like they used to be like really just like hardcore, like hardcore. And then they got out of it and like found Jesus and all that. But they were telling us these weird stories about like where not to go in Mexico City. And they were like, yeah, they showed us these photos of like this giant troll somewhere. And they were like, people give gifts, like leave gifts at its feet. I'm not making this up. They leave gifts at its feet and like worship it because it's supposed to be like some statue of a demon. I'm like, I want to see that. I
Yeah,
want
Yeah.
like I'm not very religious. Like I'm not religious at all. But like I find very interesting all of that. Like all the worshipping like towards divine thing or the representation of anything. Like I
yeah,
find it very interesting and how it changes between like cultures. Like even from Mexico to United States, it changes completely.
yeah. I will say though, like the way people act about religion here is super different than Mexico. Like religion here is such a touchy subject, and like down in Mexico, like people just openly talk about it like over, they'll just talk about it anytime. Also, like it's just so like Catholicism is like I still think like isn't that the most dominant religion in Mexico? Catholicism still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah. No, here people are kind of big into it. Like I don't know, like as you're an adult, people like kind of like I know some people are pretty religious, but like it's not as big as it is in Mexico, where you have like parades of people dressed up as Jesus, hauling a cross, recreating the crucifixion. No, but those parades were a bit strange, but I think that's like one of the cool things that makes like sets Mexico apart in its culture that it still like holds on to like its roots and traditions. Like even though it's been hundreds of years, people still do the same traditions. And it's cool. It's really cool stuff. Like the costumes are cool, the music is cool, the food is good. Um, there's some cool stuff. I think one of the coolest things was where's that place where you get a table? It's like you're on a boat and there's like tables and you go around to like the floating gardens and they were like,
Oh, Las Trajas, Xochimilco.
Xochimilco.
yeah, that's what that was one of the coolest things. That was super cool. Like the boats have all the colorful designs.
Yeah,
That's one thing
this
about
one.
Mexico is like they still hold on. Yeah, like that style, like the boat style, like that art design, all that. That's still really present in the culture today, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no,
because
that yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. So here, like, you just go there with your friends, you're partying. Then like there's boats with mariachi, so they like go near you and they play songs for you. You bring your food, your booze. Just like you can bring your family. Like it's a good place, you know. Like
Yeah, it takes you to like the floating gardens, like where they first started like growing like certain crops and stuff. It was really, I mean, yeah, but stuff like that, like the boat style, like that certain
mhm.
like the colors and like the patterns and stuff. You see that everywhere in Mexico that I noticed, and it's like it's still really alive today. Like Mexico is still holding on to like its culture really well, which is something
Yeah,
I see in like southern like states that are close to the border. Like you see that a lot in like cities near Texas, like Arizona. You see that if you go to like certain neighborhoods. Southern California, you see that like you see it a lot in LA. If you go to like Central LA and stuff like that, you see that. It's really interesting. But yeah, the traditions. You see some of the traditions up here. Like when I was in LA, I knew a couple Mexican families that still put out altars, like really, really, really tiny ones, not like really big ones. They had like some Day of the Dead like decorations, but it wasn't. It's not all out like it is down in Mexico.
yeah,
Yeah. Like I remember that when you went back, well, like when you were in Mexico, like you were like very like you adapt to Mexico like very fast, like
Yeah,
for the time that you were there.
yeah, because it was um like the way I talked to my mom to describe it, because I was talking to her about it a while back, and she was like, "Well, you guys basically it was like a sink or swim situation. Like it wasn't like, oh, hey, you're gonna slowly get into there. It was like, hey, you guys are moving to this new school, and they speak Spanish for like 8 hours a day, and you have English class like 50 minutes a day. So have fun with that." So the good thing is, it really helped me that I got to like learn Spanish fluently, and when I got to LA, I took AP exams in Spanish, aced all of them. I mean, I'm able to put that on like job applications. All my stuff is I can put on bilingual, like fluently bilingual. I understand, like when you learn a language by living somewhere, it's a lot different than like learning it through a class.
yeah,
Because I know people who learn Spanish through high school, through college, through other programs, and when you try to make like in Mexico, like in Mexico City, like I learned, like a bunch of jokes, like
Yeah.
some have double meanings. Some words have like the way you say things often gives it another meaning. Like the way your voice fluctuates gives it a different meaning. Like I understood like different jokes, idioms, you know, even insults. Like I understood it really well, and sometimes you don't get that when learning it in the classroom. Like you get to
yeah,
actually learn the language as like a native would learn it, and it was actually really cool. So now I can, when I meet people from Mexico, I mean, I get to talk with them. I can joke with them and talk to them like normal. Like we act like we make jokes in Spanish like other people don't get, with like words that have double meanings or certain swear words people don't know or certain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that you had a very good Spanish. Like it wasn't difficult to
for
for
you.
us like to speak with you. Like it wasn't like a barrier, you know. Like sometimes
The first
you used to not get like a specific joke, but when they were like very like complex, you know, like when they were like phrases that not even like the common Mexican knows, like chachalaca, shit like that. Like we don't fucking know what is that.
yeah, I remember trying to figure out what that was. Yeah, it was. it was really interesting. But the first year was definitely the first year and a half, to like 2 years was definitely like the toughest. Like the first year was it was fucking really hard. Second year got a bit easier, and then like halfway through my second year of school there, it just got super easy. It just got like after being surrounded in it all day because you wake up, family speaks Spanish, go to school, everyone speaks Spanish, go to the gym, everyone speaks Spanish. So the only time I would speak English was with my parents and when I play Xbox with my friends. So other than that, it was all Spanish, which actually forced me to adapt and kind of just, work harder at it. But it was, I mean, even though it did suck not being able to speak the language for about, like not fully understand the language for about a year, it actually didn't work out in my favor. So it was also really cool to experience the culture. Like I got to live in a place, a lot of people don't get to live outside, in their hometown for a long time. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun. It was really efficient.
And you have a different understanding of Mexico, right? Because like a lot of my friends here in Canada, they're like, "Oh, Mexico!" Like I go to Mexico City for Christmas, and I come back, and they're like, "Where's your tan?" I was like, "I went to the city, like, but tan." Like, right?
No, yeah. A lot of people don't really understand it. They're just like, "Oh, Mexico!" Like we go to Rocky Point for spring break, and you go there, and everything's cheap, everything's in pesos. You go to like open, markets. It's like that's one thing about Mexico is they still have markets, like an actual market you can go to where there's someone selling leather handbags, and two stalls over there's someone selling fruit, and then a stall over there's someone selling there's like papelerias, which is like you understand like there's an actual market. But yeah, you go there, everything's in dollars or pesos or dollars. It's really cheap and it's really nice. But if you don't understand, like Mexico City is an actual metropolitan city. It's a big city. There's skyscrapers. There's it's a really packed city. And
Yeah. Like what shook you the most when you got to Mexico City? Like the first years, like when you just got there.
Probably how packed everything is. Like in, like in Arizona, like in Scottsdale, it's the suburbs. I mean, it's a city, but you have suburbs and you have like giant parks, and then you can go to like a lake and rent a boat if you have a boat, or you can just it's a city, but it's not as congested as Mexico City is. Because in Mexico City, there's no inch of free space. Everything is like they've built so far outwards that like you can't build anything outwards. So now they're like tearing down houses and building up apartments because there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Also just
yeah, like I even feel it here in Toronto. Like I like to be in downtown because I feel in Mexico City.
Also just how, I mean, everything's really busy, and just how like busy and like everything is. It's like it's really crazy. I mean, it's just there's always a bunch of cars. There's always a
noise.
Yeah, it's like LA. There's always something going on at any given time. But another thing is just I don't know, just the culture is really different. Like it's pretty different there. It was strange at first. Like I just didn't understand some things, and then I just didn't understand the way like certain customs and stuff. Like one thing that took me a while to get used to is this is a really dumb example, but kissing people on the cheek.
Oh yeah.
That's like I mean people do here, but like the main thing is people always here just shake hands, and then there you meet someone for the first time, and you go to kiss them on the cheek, and I was like, I was really against that at first. I was like, that's don't do that. Like I like my face, but just certain traditions, certain customs and stuff. Like I think what else? Yeah, just certain things that happen there that wouldn't really happen in the U.S. Because like
Independence Day. What about that?
Independence Day. I mean, that's a year we have like Independence Day. Like when we have like our 4th of July, we our holidays like Independence Day, Labor Day. Our like national holidays, like our patriotic holidays. We do big stuff here. Like I know on 4th of July it's a really big thing. There's barbecues. There's like you have air shows where like the military comes out and like jets and flies over places and does air shows. And people celebrating on a lake, but there they have, you have parades and stuff. But yeah, Mexico is very interesting seeing the way they celebrate their Independence Day, where there was like, maybe like a parade or two, and then people went out and just partied till like midnight, and then everyone went home. I was one thing, we went out eating,
Mm-hmm.
like we went out to dinner until like midnight, and it wasn't Independence Day, and then we all just immediately, like at midnight, they just kind of went home. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Yeah, just the way people act, like the way people interact. I'm like very, very interesting. Like you could, like I've seen people interact, and I've done this before. Like people will just go up. You're at a supermarket, you're buying something from someone, or you're just going out. People just very, like some people are very formal, but I got the vibe that a lot of people are just kind of like really loose and formal,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's the vibe I got most of the time. But,
Yeah.
it was a culture shock for sure. I mean, I was also really young too, so I was like 11, and then you're like in a new environment, and then you kind of have to like figure out, like, okay, growing up in a new city where everyone's a year or two older than you. Also, everyone who was at that school mainly knew each other since like they were
Kindergarten.
yeah, so. And I was the only foreigner there, other than my sister. I was the only foreigner. Okay, this is quite the experience. But I mean, it was a ton of fun. Uh, got to learn a lot about the culture, which was cool. Like a lot of the history, um, a lot of like I said, tradition, a lot of food, a lot of customs I didn't know about. Like, hey, if you're going out to dinner, here, if you say this when you leave the table, a lot of stuff. You know, noticed that there were a lot more customs that I didn't realize.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a cultural shock when you went back to the States?
A little bit. Like it was like very minimal because I didn't go back to Arizona right away. I went to LA. So it was like I was already used to living in like a packed city, but it wasn't as bad as when I first moved to Mexico. I was older and I had more independence. So when I got there, I had the summer to myself. So we had the summer to hang out and get ready, and then school started and I met a few people, and then it was just very. It was a lot more like, how do I put it? I was just more I was just more independent at that point. Like I didn't really have to. Oh no, it was a lot more independent because like in Mexico, everyone went to the same class and stuff, and then that's like high school here because I know like they divide the grades different. Like when I went there, it's like okay, you have a class schedule, and that was about it. And then you just go home. And
yeah, like we were in a very like strict school, so like we were in a bubble.
Yeah, it was kind of weird going from like a really strict private school to just going to like regular high school in LA because when I got there, they were just very, very laid back. Like they were just really not laid back, most professors, but it was just a lot more relaxed than what I was used to. Because I was used to just like hardcore
going to class. Yeah.
You have to tuck in your shirt every day. You have to do this, you have to do that. If you miss one assignment, they call your parents. Whereas here, you miss an assignment, miss 10 assignments in high school, they don't give a fuck. Like they're like, all right, whatever. Or there, they'll call your parents, send a letter home, have a conduct meeting. It was really different. I had to get used to like having so much independence. But I mean, I liked it. And then when I got to college, it was just
fun.
Yeah. Well, I noticed in Mexico, I went to a private school before I went to Mexico, and it was a private Catholic school. But I noticed when I went to the private school in Mexico, I don't know if it's just that one school, but they were very over the top. Like the way they were about, like my old school was like, hey, you have to wear a certain uniform on church days. You just have to wear like a white polo, but for the most part, you just have to have a polo and shorts. And that was it. And where Mexico is like, you have to have a dress uniform on certain days. And you have to have, you have to have your sweats for like the days you have physical education, but you have to have like sweater, a collared shirt, like a specific colored belt, specific pants, specific shoes. It was like a haircut. It was like
the same hairstyle and everything.
Yeah, I thought it was a little over the top. So I don't know if that's just the way they are at all schools down there. I never got to ask anyone.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, honestly.
I've never heard about like another school similar to the one that we
Dive?
went. No, they are way more
No.
liberal.
I
Like
don't
they
know.
are
I've never.
similar, but no, like they are way more liberal.
I just thought it was
Like
interesting. I never met a private school that was like, I've never heard of a private school. Even my friends who went to private high schools out in, private all boys high schools out here. They told me it wasn't that. Like all they had to wear was a collared shirt and shorts and like khaki shorts. Where in Mexico it was a little bit top. So that was a bit weird. Like the whole, they were just really on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Culture shock was also just how different everything is. Like instead of normally if I need bread or something, I can go to a bakery here, or I can just go to the supermarket, pick up some pastries or whatnot. Or if I need like meat, I go to the supermarket. Where in Mexico, you can go to a market, an open market, where they have like actual like butchers and they have like bakeries. The cultures there is different. It is just very different. Like the way just stuff happens is different. Like the way things work, like even especially like dealing with the government is really different. Like here,
Mm-hmm.
if you need something from the government, you just find out what department it is and you contact them and call them and then you follow the steps there. Like it seems like everything that needs to get done is done through like this
Yeah.
mix of just loops, just ends and stuff, and it's very strange.
Mm-hmm. And then you need to like pay extra money that nobody needs to know about, so that
Yeah, that's basically how we got my dog out of Mexico because they were trying to just. Well, she had all her paperwork and it was all signed and stamped and everything, and the person at TSA was trying to give us, some stuff. So I think my mom went to the front desk and had to pay more at the counter, and she's like, "This is ridiculous." But I noticed that just that's a big thing there is just money. Like you can skip a lot of bureaucracy if you have money, and that was a really big thing. Was just like just how just intent, like how you could skip the system really easily just by paying a few people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that happens in the U.S. Like I'm certain it happens in places,
But
like
it's not as common, I think.
yeah, over there it's just so open. It's like, oh yeah, if you get pulled over, you need to pay the cost 200 pesos and they'll let you go. Like,
yeah, like it's like a double-edged thing, like it makes things easier in a certain way, like because sometimes bureaucracy really messes up things, like makes it like very long and tedious.
Mhm.
So like paying like makes it way faster.
Mhm. I think
Oh, oh well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, where did I left?
When you pay, it's so faster. Oh.
My internet is very bad right now, I don't know why.
It's okay.
But yeah, like it represents a state of decay in society, like in Mexico. Like when you can pass a light and don't mind about it, like a red light, like that represents a decay in society because you are not following a basic rule where everyone, like it's a win-win not crossing a red light.
Yeah.
Like you
I
don't
actually,
get in a crash.
I actually
Like I
went
don't
back
know. Yeah.
for 3 months. Like before my first semester of college, I went back there for 3 months actually to stay with my family for a bit down there. And going back there as someone who's 18 years, like I was 18 years old, so I was actually like an adult at the time. I could travel, I could do all my stuff. I had my passport, I had my own money, and it was strange to see how like when I was young, I would just go to school, go do some stuff on the go to like work out, go do some sports, and then um, come home and being an adult and going out and seeing the nightlife and how people are just when people go out, they're like actually some people are actually scared to go out at night and just the way it is where they're like, hey, you can't take a taxi off the street because it may be a fake taxi and you'll get mugged or kidnapped. It's like
Yeah.
it's really strange about how all that works. Like the nightlife is really fun actually. Um, but it's a little bit different than here in the U.S. Like here, yeah, you have nightclub. Like Arizona, I mean, obviously different states are different. Like LA is getting to nightclub in LA is different than getting to nightclub in Phoenix. But just there it was really different. I mean, you could go. There were so many options too there. Like you could go to when I went out there for New Year's, I was there for New Year's, and I went out with this girl. We went out for New Year's, and the nightclubs there were just you had so many options, and it was a ton of fun. But I mean, no, people, it's a lot of fun. Well, people really embrace. There's a lot of traditional stuff I saw when I went back there. There's a lot of like tradition-based stuff. People really embrace their tradition there, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's very sad that like going to Mexico to party, like it's extremely cheap compared to Toronto. I don't know. I don't know how expensive it's the beer in, well, alcohol in general in the States. Like I assume that it's the same price, like around $8 or something like that.
I mean, it honestly just depends on what you're getting. If you know, you can get a 30 rack of, you can get 30 beers for $15.
But like in average, like how much is it like?
Compared to Mexico, oh, it's like Mexico is like alcohol's pretty cheap. Like there's a reason people go to Mexico for spring break because it's cheap and also you can drink at a younger age. But
I mean, you shouldn't, but it's easy. It's easy to do.
No, but compared like to here in Toronto or United States, like it's 3 years of difference, right?
Well,
Yeah.
like you can. States, it's 1 year from Ontario.
Oh,
you need to be 19 in Ontario to drink.
The sad thing is that like people see Mexico as like a lesser country, not in like not putting it down, but just people don't see it as, you know, they don't see it as a country that's functioning properly or, you know, making the best decisions. And even if you look at the news now with all the stuff, they're like the marches there and people getting assaulted, people getting kidnapped, like crime's been on the rise there. It's kind of sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, some people are embracing their tradition down there, and I think that's really cool. But I think, you know, a lot of people are just. I mean, even though we saw in our generation, people just wouldn't really. Some people in our classes, they wouldn't really give, you know, like they don't really care about tradition. They don't really care about their holidays and whatnot. So, you know, it's always sad when you see people throwing away such a vibe. You know, throwing away like their chance to participate in such a vibrant culture. Like I did it. I thought it was awesome. I mean, you remember, Renee? We went out. We did a bunch of stuff. You know, we celebrated a ton of stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of sad that people aren't, you know, embracing it more.
Yeah. So one thing before we leave, Sean, which one is your favorite kind of taco? Like real taco, not Taco Bell.
Okay.
Or just Locos Nachos. No, not that one.
That's a tough one. Because, like, I could say the classic pastor, which everyone, like, that's a safe bet to always say. But, like, you have so many decisions. You have, like, lengua, tripa, like, so many different ones. I always, like...
You're amazing me right now. Like, you've tried more tacos than me. Like, I've never tried lengua or tripa.
Come on.
Dude, those were good. I always loved all of them, but I might just go with, like, lengua. I might, because it was really good. I don't know why, but it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Like I like it. Like the texture is weird, but then I don't know. When I eat it, it's okay. But then when you think about it, it's like I'm chewing a tongue, and it's not my tongue. It's just something weird.
Yeah, I got the first reaction when I went to go do Korean barbecue and I was eating like pig intestines. I was like, "This is weird," but you know what? Whatever they're doing to that, it's working. Mm-hmm. But that's another thing, though. Is like the food here. When people say Mexican food up here, I'm like, oh boy, you don't even know. Like, a buddy of mine, we went out for spring break and we went to Rocky Point. And we went to those, you know, those restaurants that are like on the corner of like around like the corner of a sidewalk, and they have the sidewalk. You know, like those are like the food there's gonna be amazing. That's what the restaurant looks like.
Yeah, like the dirty place. It's the good one.
Yeah. Have like the plates with like plastic plates with like paper bags on them.
Yeah. Because they don't have water to wash them. They just take off the bag.
Yeah, they just take off the bag. Yeah, I told him, and he's like, I've never had an authentic taco, and I was like, and then he got it. Different. I'm like, yeah, like the other ones, like the Mexican food here is like a tostada with like, and it's like I don't like it. Well, here like they say like Mexican food, like oh, they're like, oh, there's Baja style, there's this, that, there's so many different styles, and I was like, that's not like authentic. Like people don't understand like enchiladas, are authentic. The authentic food is one thing that I miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear people like they're like, oh, Chipotle is like Mexican style. I'm like, that's not a thing.
No.
Chicken and wrapping it does not make it an authentic burrito. Like, yeah, that's one thing though. Is you cannot find like decent food at like. It's really hard to find like decent Mexican food. Like, there's a
Yeah.
place here owned by a Mexican family, and they do really well. But that's like the first time I've actually ordered tacos, and they only speak Spanish here. Like, I've been served by them. They only speak Spanish, and they gave me authentic tacos and like molletes, and like they gave me.
Yeah. I know how it feels. Like I recently found like a taqueria near my house, and man, like when you find a taco like outside your country, like
Like,
it
even
just
if it's
feels,
not the same, it's just like
yeah. If
close to
it's
it. So
even close to it, like yeah, it just makes your day. Like
Yeah, food is a
yeah.
big culture, and like that's one thing that I think Mexicans probably take the most pride in. Like, people are proud of like their Aztec roots and their like native roots and all that, but I think food is by far the biggest thing they're the most proud of.
yeah,
That and soccer teams. Like,
Yeah.
I still get like I still hear arguments by people like like Mexican kids here where they're arguing about like their soccer team. It's like, oh, who do you go for? It's like America. It's like puto. Like, they keep arguing. I hear that. I hear that still, but no, I do want to visit again eventually because once I graduate, I won't be able to, and I'm planning actually a trip down there one more time to see what it's like. But I've heard it's very different. I've heard it's
Yeah.
yeah. It's getting dangerous right now,
yeah,
as always.
I've heard it's different, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's gonna get better or worse? Or
I mean, you can go to
It's
different to like the very secure places like Cancun. Like the places made like for
for you.
American people.
yeah, well,
Like literally Cancun, San Miguel. Like those are like the very cool places
yeah.
to
I
go.
think San Miguel is better. It's more traditional.
Yeah,
It's such a nice country, and it sucks that there's like so much like that's going on that's like wrong with it. Like, you have the cartels running like drugs, and you have like political corruption and stuff, and that kind of I feel like dampens like the vibrant culture and all the cool stuff that it has to offer.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like the sad part. Like even like I don't know. Like there have been times
Okay. Well, he's having a lot of issues, so yeah. Okay.
made my
Quickly,
entrance.
Felipe. Quickly.
Yeah. Like every time that I go back, I don't want to like I don't want to go back. Like like I'm like, should I come back next year? Like I don't know. But yeah,
It's your
like
mom.
yeah, I don't know. Like I prefer her to come here. Like
No, I get what he's saying. It is safer outside of Mexico.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also like I only go for the tacos. Like that's my priority.
Food, yeah.
You're so.
I want to go back for some of those celebrations. I want to go see. Now that I'm older, I want to experience some of that again as an adult. Because as a kid, maybe I didn't understand it fully, and I wasn't like, I kind of, wasn't fully immersed in it. But now as an adult, I want to go back and fully see what it has to offer,
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a pleasure to have Sean here in the podcast. Maybe he'll be here in the future.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. What else we have? Patreon too. We have like the $1 tier for all our supporters. So yeah, go and help us. We have like bonus material there and stuff. You can see episodes before anyone else. So yeah, thank you so much, Sean. And oh yeah, quick announcement. We have a new crew member, Sparkle staff. Um, Her name is Mariana. She's gonna be in a future episode. She lived in Switzerland, Portugal, Spain,
Oh, yeah.
Mexico as well. Yeah, she knows, right?
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, yeah, so she's gonna be helping us with social media stuff. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching and listening. Oh, remember to rate us on Apple Podcasts and leave good comment there. Same as YouTube. Sean, thank you so much again. Felipe, thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
And
Take care, my friend.
congratulations for joining the Marines.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. I'm commissioning, so I have to get my diploma first. So
Oh,
when I graduate this spring, hopefully I'll be selected to go. And then I'll
Yeah.
go in May, and then for 10 weeks.
damn, that's cool.
Good
Good luck,
luck.
Sean.
Good luck, Sean. And bye bye.
Bye bye.